President Trump announced a pause on the planned 25% tariffs on all Mexican imports. This announcement came as a surprise to many who were bracing for the economic impact such tariffs would have on both countries. The tariffs were initially proposed as a measure to pressure Mexico into taking stronger actions to curb illegal immigration into the United States. This decision came after Mexico agreed to take action on border security. Specifically, Mexico has committed to deploying its National Guard throughout the country, with a particular focus on its southern border. Additionally, Mexico has agreed to expand its policy of taking back asylum seekers while their cases are processed in the United States. The announcement eased immediate concerns about a trade war. Investors reacted positively, with stock markets showing an uptick following the news. Business leaders on both sides of the border expressed relief, as the tariffs would have significantly increased costs and disrupted supply chains. It also signaled a potential shift in the tense relationship between the two countries. The agreement could pave the way for more collaborative efforts on issues of mutual concern, such as trade, immigration, and security. The tariff threat had loomed for weeks. Businesses were preparing for the worst, with some even considering relocating their operations to avoid the increased costs. The uncertainty had caused significant anxiety among manufacturers, retailers, and consumers alike. Businesses on both sides of the border were anxious. Many companies rely on the seamless flow of goods between the U.S. and Mexico, and the tariffs would have disrupted this critical economic relationship. The automotive, agriculture, and electronics industries were particularly vulnerable to the proposed tariffs. The pause offered a reprieve. Companies can now continue their operations without the immediate threat of increased costs. This breathing room allows businesses to plan for the future with a bit more certainty, though the underlying issues remain unresolved. It also raised questions about the future of U.S.-Mexico relations. While the immediate crisis has been averted, the long-term relationship between the two countries will depend on how effectively they can address the root causes of their disagreements. The coming months will be crucial in determining whether this agreement marks a new chapter of cooperation or merely a temporary truce. Mexico's agreement included a significant commitment. They would deploy 6,000 National Guard troops to the border with Guatemala. These troops would focus on stemming the flow of Central American migrants. This was a key demand from the Trump administration. Mexico also agreed to increased enforcement efforts. They would target human smuggling operations. Asylum procedures would also be reviewed. These measures were aimed at addressing U.S. concerns about illegal immigration. The stock market reacted positively to the news. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose over 200 points. Investors saw the tariff pause as a sign of progress. It suggested a potential easing of trade tensions. Businesses that rely on cross-border trade also breathed a sigh of relief. The tariffs would have disrupted supply chains. They also would have increased costs for consumers. The pause provided a window of opportunity to find a more permanent solution. The tariff threat against Mexico had drawn criticism. Canada, the European Union, and China had all voiced concerns. They warned of retaliatory measures. This raised the specter of a global trade war. The pause on tariffs suggested that the Trump administration was mindful of the risks. A trade war would have hurt the U.S. economy. It also would have damaged relationships with key allies. The pause allowed for a reset. Section 5, Averted Crisis. Tariff implementation threatened North American economy. The potential implementation of tariffs sent shockwaves through the North American economy, raising concerns among economists, businesses, and consumers alike. The tariffs, if implemented, would have been devastating. Experts predicted a significant economic downturn with potential repercussions that could have lasted for years. The uncertainty alone caused market fluctuations and consumer anxiety. Mexico is the United States' third-largest trading partner. The intricate trade relationship between the two countries is vital for the economies on both sides of the border. Billions of dollars in goods and services are exchanged annually, supporting countless jobs and businesses. The tariffs would have increased prices for consumers. Everyday items, from groceries to electronics, would have seen price hikes, squeezing household budgets and reducing purchasing power. Inflation would have surged, affecting the cost of living for millions. They also would have disrupted supply chains across North America. The interconnected nature of modern manufacturing means that a disruption in one area can have cascading effects throughout the entire supply chain, leading to delays, shortages, and increased costs. The automotive industry would have been hit particularly hard. This sector relies heavily on cross-border trade, with parts and components often crossing the border multiple times before a vehicle is fully assembled. Many cars are assembled in Mexico using parts from the United States. This symbiotic relationship is crucial for maintaining competitive prices and high-quality standards in the automotive market. The tariffs would have made these cars more expensive. Consumers would have faced higher prices at dealerships, potentially reducing sales and impacting the broader economy. The increased costs would have been passed down the supply chain, affecting everyone from manufacturers to end buyers. This would have hurt both US and Mexican workers. Job losses would have been inevitable, with factories potentially shutting down or reducing their workforce. The economic strain would have been felt deeply in communities reliant on manufacturing jobs, exacerbating social and economic inequalities. Section 6. Canada and Mexico to increase efforts to control drug and migrant flow. In a significant move to address the ongoing issues of drug trafficking and illegal migration, Canada and Mexico have announced a collaborative effort to bolster their control measures. This initiative comes as part of a broader agreement involving the United States, aiming to enhance security and stability across North America. As part of the agreement, Canada pledged to increase its support. This includes deploying additional resources and personnel to assist in monitoring and managing the flow of migrants and drugs. Canadian officials have emphasized the importance of a united front in tackling these issues, recognizing that the challenges faced by one nation can have significant repercussions for its neighbors. They would provide resources and personnel to help address the situation at the US-Mexico border. This support is expected to enhance the capabilities of Border Patrol agents, allowing for more effective surveillance and intervention. The increased presence of Canadian personnel will also facilitate better coordination and information sharing between the countries. This demonstrated a spirit of cooperation between the three North American neighbors. The leaders have expressed their commitment to working together to find sustainable solutions to the complex issues of drug trafficking and illegal migration. This collaboration is seen as a crucial step in strengthening regional security and fostering a sense of shared responsibility. The focus on drug and migrant flow highlighted the complex challenges facing the region. The influx of migrants and the persistent threat of drug trafficking have created a multifaceted problem that requires a comprehensive and coordinated response. By addressing these issues collectively, the countries aim to mitigate the negative impacts on their societies and economies. It also underscored the need for a coordinated approach. The establishment of joint task forces and regular meetings between representatives from the US, Mexico, and Canada are essential components of this strategy. These efforts are designed to ensure that all parties are aligned in their objectives and methodologies, leading to more effective and efficient outcomes. The agreement marked a step towards a more united front. By formalizing their commitment to collaboration, the countries have set a precedent for future initiatives aimed at addressing shared challenges. This united approach not only enhances their ability to combat drug trafficking and illegal migration, but also strengthens the overall security and prosperity of the North American region. Section 7. Tariff pause provides temporary reprieve, allowing time for negotiations. The tariff pause was just that, a pause. It did not resolve the underlying issues. It did, however, provide a much-needed breathing space. This allowed time for further negotiations. The coming weeks would be crucial. negotiators from all three countries would need to find common ground. The goal was a long-term agreement that addressed trade and immigration concerns. Section 8. Trump's Tariff Strategy, a high-stakes gamble in trade and immigration. The tariff threat was a classic Trump tactic. He used it as leverage to try to force Mexico's hand. It was a high-stakes gamble. It could have backfired, leading to a trade war. The pause suggested that the gamble had paid off, at least for now. Mexico had made concessions. However, the long-term consequences of Trump's approach remained to be seen. Section 9. Preparing for Uncertainty, Navigating the Economic Impacts of Trade Wars. The tariff threat served as a reminder. The global economy is interconnected. Trade wars have no winners. They hurt businesses and consumers alike. It is essential for individuals and businesses to be prepared. This means diversifying investments. It also means having contingency plans in place. In an uncertain world, adaptability is key.